Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today talking about our victory against the 49ers. Now, I might sound a little weird, recovering from some mouth pain, but, so might have a slight lisp, but we're gonna go with it. Anyway, we had a tough, hard-fought victory against the 49ers, something that was not expected, at least by me coming into this game. I didn't think it would be such a grinded out game that it turned out to be, but that's what we had. But hey, we got 11 wins. Who would have thought we would have had that? So, this game was pretty much a game of keep away. And again, the 49ers aren't a prolific offense. They're definitely not a team that's doing well this year. So coming into it, not many people would have expected us to really have to play keep away. And that's really what we did because they were moving on our offense. We held Bear down and didn't give up a bunch of touchdowns, but still they were moving the ball. In the offense our offense, we weren't doing as well. So it turned into this grinded out, let's eat the clock and run the ball and play defense type of thing. We still did our little vertical thing, but it was more dink and dunk than usual. So it was interesting game plan to, maybe it was the home field. I know the field isn't the best footing, but whatever reason, Nagy decided to really, take this as an old school game where we used to be with the Bears, just kind of let the defense bend but don't break. And then the offense just do just enough to get by. And we've done that a lot this year, but I feel like that's against way better competition. And so once the 49ers offense started moving the ball on us, that was, interesting. But what you really saw was a power game, and I'll get to that a little later. So overall, it was sloppy. There was some, really bad calls. There were some really big calls that saved us. We got lucky, to be honest. We got lucky on a lot of things. I'm a Bears fan. We're all here to root for the Bears, but I'm not going to lie. We got lucky with some calls, and we definitely got lucky with that last fumble to end the game. But anyway, so let's go to the defense first. This is a change. We got after that offensive line. You've been listening to me this season. I talk a lot of praise for the secondary, and we were pretty decent, but I would say this is one of the fewer games where the pass rush as a whole, not the blitz, not the stunts, not just Khalil Mack. I feel like everybody was pushing the pocket to the quarterback. And so that's been rare. And poor Mike McGlinchey. I still love him. He's a rookie. People want rookies to be all pros now, but I think he's going to grow into that, frame, and he's definitely going to be, better. And he would have been a lot better off being coached up with us and our, Harry Heaston and his old coach. But he got picked on today. Oh my God, he got picked on. They did a bunch of different things to help against Khalil Mack, and their whole entire offensive line from the very beginning, I could see they were not communicating well enough to pick up stunts or any, type of game. So and I've noticed this a lot in the NFL, but us particularly in the last few weeks, we seem really uncoordinated with some of our stunts. There's some people running into each other way too much. Now that doesn't prevent you from getting somebody open, if the offensive line doesn't pass off correctly, but it's something to watch because you would think by now we would be more, solid with every single game that we have, but there's too many times, mainly the interior, too many times Hicks and Bilal and Goldman are running into each other when we do all these stunts. That's something to watch out for. But their offensive line was bad at picking that up, and I saw that very early on. Their communication was bad. We saw that when Roquan got his sack, even though I would say that was more of a good play by him, but still, too many times that offensive line could not communicate, and poor Mike McGlinchey, they were picking on him. He's not the fastest guy, so he was playing for speed, and with Khalil Mack, he has no problem diving inside. especially when you got a quarterback that you don't feel like is going to move the pocket a lot. Same thing we talked about with Jared Goff. But even when we going straight up pass rush, I feel like more people were pushing the pocket. And I don't watch the 49ers a lot. I don't know a lot about their line, but I will say this is one of the first lines I seen us beat up that bad. So, definitely praise to the, pass rush in the front seven. Roquan and Trevathan, they played their tails off. As far as what they're good at, they were on all cylinders today. As far as what they're bad at, it really showed. And if you listen to me again, I've said before, early in the year, one of the things I think that could whoop us is a power run game. And I don't think the 49ers, they did some good stuff in the past. I'll get to that. But I don't think they were like aerial attack. I think it really started with them getting good yards on all their runs. And, you know, they don't even have their top back. So it was tough. I mean, for as bad as pass pro that O-line was, that's how good they were in run blocking. And I told you guys before, we're odd front. What that means is you got one guy in the middle most of the time. And so if somebody can get to that linebacker easily, that second linebacker, who knows? It depends, you know, how well they block. But the point is, these linebackers got to be ready to take that on, and we are not good at that. They're undersized, they're fast, but they don't get off blocks. And so that was tested today. They were working their way to the second level quite often, and the run game really hit us. Now, the other thing that I said will hurt us is when you get a team like us that likes to spread you out and then go vertical and attack seams. And we do that sometimes. We mix it up with Nagy, but when you see teams like that spread us out and they attack the seams or they go vertical and just pretty much wait to see what you pick up, that hurt too. And you have to have the right quarterback for that. Look, I don't know who this Mullins guy is. I haven't watched him a lot, but man, and I'm not saying he's the greatest or going to be the next greatest, but man, he is tough. Absolutely tough. He sat in the pocket and faced that danger and made some plays. And we haven't faced a quarterback like that, not Goff. The only other one we faced was Tom Brady. And I know, you know, we'll get to the conversation about scrambling quarterbacks later, but to me and to a lot of coaches, there's nothing better than a pocket passing quarterback that can sit in the pocket, not panic, and make the right decision. Because a good pass rush is going to limit your opportunities to pass the ball. Either going to affect the pass, they're going to sack you, or they're going to force you to move and make a different choice. That's the job of the pass rush. And so when you have a guy that doesn't get off his spot and sticks with the play and doesn't panic and move because he's about to get hit, then you have more opportunities. Then you're able to take more shots because you're saying, I'm going to stick in here, take the hit, not be scared, and I'm going to shoot it. And you saw him do that plenty of times. And that's different from people that scramble around and extend the play. So I have to give him props for that. I have to definitely give him props for that. Again, he isn't the greatest, but he made some big plays that kept us on our heels. And so that's the other thing. Now, the routes and the combos, again, going vertical, stretching the defense, making people declare, and then hitting it underneath. They did that. Play action off the run. They did a lot of that. So it was different to see this type of offense move the ball on us. But those are the type of things I worry about. And I said again, the only quarterback that I would be scared of on our side of the NFC in the playoffs is Drew Brees. And so Drew Brees is the only other person that can stay in the pocket and do those type of things. So that feels kind of good, but you know, again, you just kind of saw what type of things could hurt us. But we played tough for the most part, and we capitalized on some mistakes that they made. And that's what good defenses do. And that's kind of what we was hoping the defense, that's what the team in the game plan was predicated on. Just hoping that we capitalized on their mistakes. And then throw in there Sheriff McManus, man. He's been a real good replacement for Bryce Callahan. And not just in the coverage, but in the blitz game, the run game, all that. So definitely shout out to him. But as far as the overall performance by the defense, I'm gonna give them a B. Now going to the offense. Man, it's tough with Trubisky. It's tough. I mean, he made some questionable decisions. I still feel the same way. When you give Trubisky, the option, or not the option, but if you give him the target that he's going to, he's pretty good, especially the way Nagy schemes stuff up. Now, when you're asking Trubisky to make his own decisions, that's when it gets a little rough. And then, of course, there's this whole scrambling thing. Look, he wants to be Aaron Rodgers 2.0 cool. I know a lot of people in this debate right now. The cool thing is to have a mobile quarterback that can pick up yards and extend the play. Aaron Rodgers made it cool. Now everybody wants to have somebody that can extend the play. And and this isn't really about Trubisky being the best, because I don't think he's going to be. But I just think the best form of quarterbacking is pocket passing, because like I was saying earlier, but also when you have to extend the play, that means a couple things. That means either your line not doing their job, or the quarterback is skittish, or the receivers aren't getting open. And so you can't make a living off that. Even if you're good at it, even if it helps, you can't make a living off that. And Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest in the world, great arm. And they, back before when they were winning Super Bowls, it wasn't just all the scramble drill. But lately, as they go closer and closer to today, it became a scramble drill every time. And that's where they are now. You can't live off that. If you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe, but you can't live off that. And so I think that brings up bigger issues when you have somebody that's having to extend the play all the time. Now, we don't have to do it all the time, but still, it's enough to where I'm like, I'm waiting for Trubisky. I'd never seen that play like Mullins, where he stuck in the pocket and got hit by Khalil Mack and delivered the strike on the slant, or like the little angle route by the running back. I've never seen that from Trubisky this year. And I'm still waiting. One of those times, and I watched Big Ben. I was, watching the Steelers Saints game in between. You watch those type of quarterbacks and you see it effortlessly. Now, I'm not saying he has to do it effortlessly. I'm not saying he has to do it consistently, but I'm waiting to see him do it, period. I just haven't seen him do it. And so I'm waiting to see if he can add that, because that's when we're going to get to the next level. That's when we don't have to depend on gimmicks and good field position from the defense. Now, could we still win that way? Could we still be good that way? Obviously. But I want us to be consistently good for a while. And so I would like to see that maturation. But yeah, offensive wise, we ran the ball. Like I said, we just played a little bit of keep away. We pounded it with Jay Howe, which was cool. I think we did an excellent job on the interior, double teaming, working up to the linebackers, really, doing some solid double team work. But I will say this, y'all got to give Charles Leno more credit. He might not be a pass blocking aficionado, but the man in the run screen game is good, especially for his size. Like, we just see all these dancing bear tackles coming out now, and we're like, oh, look how big he is, and he can run and get out in space. Charles Leno could do that. Charles Leno does that. And we do a lot with these tight end sets where we bring in tight end to block, and so we pull the tackle a lot, and we do a lot of stuff with the screen. So Charles Leno is in space a lot. Like, if you look at the one play where they did a rollout to the right, and then threw the back to a screen to the left. Charles Leno was like out there. And then he had another play where they faked the reverse and then gave it to Anthony Miller the other way. Same thing. Charles Leno is downfield making blocks. You gotta give him his props, but, they're gelling well. And again, we were less vertical today. We were a lot more underneath West Coast style. And it was just kind of a keep away game. But Cody Parkey misses the opening field goal. I mean, we got lucky because Trubisky threw an interception, but they called it back. But it wasn't the prettiest game for our offense. So I give them a C. All right. Some other stuff, man, that fight. Wow. They ejected our boy Bellamy and Richard Sherman. Like, that was crazy. I'll just say, of course, people gonna react when the quarterback gets hit, but that wasn't dirty at all, wasn't hard at all. He chest bumped Trubisky in the head, and, we got the flag, but you see Kyle Long was out there tossing people out the club, as we say, with no pads or helmet, just like, move, dude, move. That was funny. But this game was fun because there was so many connections to the 49ers. Of course, you got Vic Fangio. That's where he used to coach at. This is how we got Trubisky with that trade and John Lynch. We see how that's working out. I'm just playing. They didn't have a quarterback most of the year. But you still, Solomon Thomas. I was not a fan of Solomon Thomas coming out. You watched him today. He's getting handled pretty easily. He's nothing special. He's not even on the field all the time. And Trubisky isn't blowing the world up either, but it's just interesting to see us play them. And then, of course, the other tie is the 49ers were one of the other big players trying to get Khalil Mack, and we end up getting them. And hey, maybe that's the difference in the season. Who knows? So, interesting connections, fun game, tough, grinded out game. Again, last drive, we gotta talk about this. And I'm curious to hear what y'all thoughts are. Matt Nagy calls the pass play. It's first down. And it's less than 2 minutes. They have no timeouts. And they start passing. Or they do one pass. Now, I don't want to be a hindsight person. Like, oh, well, that was dumb because he fumbled. They didn't know he was going to fumble. But when you pass, that's the risk you take. And so, was that risk necessary? Especially on first down. Now, if you want to do a screen or a little swing pass to the back, I can understand. I'm just wondering what Nagy was thinking there. So I don't know. But anyway, as far as going to the future, if you didn't know, we got the Vikings for the last game of the season. We could effectively kick them out of the playoffs and get ourselves into the number 2 seed if the Rams lose to the 49ers. How likely is that? Probably not likely. So, but we got something to play for. 2 things. So, I think it's worth it because I'm pretty sure the way it stacks up now, if we lose to the Vikings and they get in, we'll end up playing them in the wild card. So I think it's worth it to come out and try to kick them out of the playoffs because, NFC North. But then also, so we don't have to play a familiar opponent because that could be pretty bad in the playoffs. But then also hoping the Rams lose. If we win, we could get a first round bye, and that's going to be a whole different story. So, expect the Bears to come bear down next week. So, but that's all for me. Want to hear what you all have to say. Go to the comment section, get the convo started, share it around, thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.